What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into another video. After hitting the second wall of Zenlesszonezero, I felt that it was prime time for me to give my full thoughts and impressions on the game so far. I know a lot of people were hating on the game or had a lot of dislikes or things that, they weren't really having fun with or things that they wanted changed. And they were doing these reviews pretty early on. So I'm level 32 right now. We have enough like ether recharges probably to hit level 34, which would push us past this second wall. The first wall being earlier, like in the level 20 or like 18 to 20, somewhere around there. And I felt like I've got a good grasp of everything in the game so far. So I wanted to talk about everything that I've experienced in the game, whether it be like the menus, the user interface, the character designs, how the story has played out so far, all the different areas that we can explore. Be it as it may, is not that many right now, but it does feel like in the future they can expand on this. And one of those things I'm very excited for. But yeah, I wanted to go over all of these things, give my impressions on the game in total. This is coming from a very non-biased standpoint. There's no sponsorship or anything like that. I do play other gacha games, and I've been playing gacha games for quite some time. So all of my experiences coming into giving this review on the game. But yeah, we're gonna start off with just this interface right here, because this is where usually you're going to be in collecting all of your dailies, doing everything like that. It's the first start of the day whenever you log in. It's what you're going to be navigating around to just clear some stuff out. So first and foremost, I really like this design. We'll just start with this right here. In the future, I know I just unlocked it right at level 32. One of the missions allowed us to unlock this section of the game, which is going to be like your friendship or like your basically bonding points and stuff you get with the characters. Once you get to a certain point at level 4, you will be able to just claim them and have them as a dynamic wallpaper. Something small like this, it really adds a lot of flavor to any game that's out there, especially if you have a menu that you're going to be moving around at least 5 to 10 minutes during your gameplay. It adds a little spice to that. And with all these different characters that we have already and more to come, then we'll just have more variety in the future. The feature seems pretty easy. It's just basically calling them up on the phone, doing one little task or a conversation with them during the day, and it unlocks some bonding points. But yeah, the user interface so far, I would say out of all of the games that I've played, out of all the gacha games and everything, this is one of them that it stands at the top. And a lot of people were critiquing this because it had way too many menus and stuff like that. But it really doesn't. Once you played, we're on day 7, so I've played for 7 days, and I can pretty much navigate this without even looking, at the words. Just the symbols and everything let me know where I'm going, and they're all very distinct on what they are. And harping on like this little more menu right here, man, you're barely ever gonna come here, and all this stuff is just basically menu and mail, so it's not even a really big problem. They also have tons of features and stuff like that inside of their actual settings, to where you can kind of set the game to your standards, the way you want to play, whether you're playing on mouse and keyboard or controller. It feels great on both. This is one of those games. Usually I'm a big mouse and keyboard player, and for the first time I was like, man, I could literally sit back in my chair, lounge style jutsu, and enjoy the game and still be relevant at dodging and countering and everything like that. The controller setup seems pretty flawless, I would say. Like, this almost feels like it was designed for a console. But yeah, we're not going to go too far into that. If you go in here, you can set up your key bindings however you want, change everything up. The input, obviously, what controller, what axis, every sensitivity and stuff like that. I honestly haven't messed with a lot in here, but I do feel like there's certain things that would make the experience on controller much more enjoyable than it would on mouse and keyboard, especially if you're into not sitting up straight on the mouse and keyboard all day and you have like a reclining chair, you just want to relax. It makes it so much better for that. But yeah, overall the user interface feels really easy to use. On controller, you can just go ahead and hit the left trigger, and it allows you to use those top portions up there with the X, Y, A, B, right bumper, and then obviously the right on the D-pad. Very easy to navigate. The controller fluidity feels very comfortable as well. Nothing feels out of place. We'll get into like what the controller feels like on combat and stuff a little bit later. But yeah, as for the user interface, I feel like it's a step up from most other gacha games, and not physically like on the design of aesthetics, but just how I'm able to maneuver through it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for like the user interface. We'll go ahead and get into the next topic. I feel like one of, if not one of the most important things in all gacha games is obviously going to be the characters. This is what drives the sales for the longevity of the game. And being in the menu, you know, moving around and looking at the characters and stuff like that, the aesthetic that Zenlesszonezero brings is truly top notch. I mean, every single character kind of has their little animations and everything, which most gacha games at this point do have that. But I feel like they've gone above and beyond, especially when like maneuvering through the menu itself. Over here, we have everything available on one screen. We don't have to navigate between different menus and stuff like that. Everything is here. There's no loading in between. We don't have to go back and forth between different stuff. And one of the things that I find, you know, very valuable for not wasting too much time is specifically like if we go to like our skills and we wanted to go farm one of the items to level up a skill, or even better, if we wanted to go farm up an item that would allow us to ascend, they have it pretty easily laid out. I mean, it's very simple. You just, whether you're if you're on controller, you just hit the right stick in. It allows you to see which item it is. You click onto that, and then it gives you all the different ways you can achieve that. What's really cool is you can teleport directly to there. You don't have to like mark it on a map and then run over there or anything like that. You just teleport directly into the menu where you're going to be getting that item, and it allows you to go forward. That right there is a huge quality of life. There's tons of different gacha games in the past that I've played that have done something similar, but I feel like they just allowed it to be more flawless and seamless within the game. And maneuvering is always a really important thing. But other than that, if we look at the cast of characters that we have so far, I know a lot of people have had gripes on certain things, but I feel like the cast that we have at launch is pretty cool. Now, I haven't unlocked every single character yet. We are still missing these 4 guys right here, guys and gals. So we will be trying to get those into the future. But the main characters that we have out right now, they have a lot of cool aesthetics to them that go along with their kits and everything. And it's very enjoyable for me. Stuff like this is a driving factor for myself personally when getting into a gacha game, is because I know that in the future, if I am going to probably spend a little bit of money to like support the game, I want characters that are coming out to be pleasing, not only in the way that they look, like they look cool, they go along with their element or their status or whatever it is, like their faction, but also they feel fun in gameplay. And every single character so far that I've messed around with and played with, they felt like they had their own spice of life whenever it came to like the way that you play that character. Be it as it may, yeah, we are probably only clicking 1 to 2 to 3 buttons or anything like that in any of the gacha games, because it's not truly like an in-depth game where you have like hundreds of skills and stuff like that. The customization of skills is always going to be set on the character. But for me, each character has felt truly individual as their own character so far. Maybe they'll copy and paste in the future, but right now I feel like they did a really good job with like the sound effects, the way that the characters move around, like their running animations, their intro attack animations, the ultimates, everything all in a package has felt good. I can't really complain on anything on that. I will say that I wish there was a variety of characters that weren't just set to like the specific elements that we have right now. Hopefully in the future we'll get something different, maybe like hybrids. A lot of games steer away from doing like hybrid characters, like dual elements and stuff, but I feel like at this point in time it would be a great opportunity for someone to take that risk and try it out. I don't see how it could hurt, but yeah, that's just my opinion on something like that. But once we get into the character menu, let's go ahead and take a look. You have everything here. You have your stats, your level up, your element. Over here, once you hit the start button or the bottom left over there, you can go ahead and see like their dupe page, and you can go ahead and look obviously to see what those dupes unlock. So everything is laid out very nice. And what's really cool, I didn't mean to get off that. What's really cool about this is once you unlock everything, let's go to a character. We've unlocked a pretty good amount of it. You can go ahead and see it like a full picture of them. And they also have the ability to, I believe you can go into, yeah. So you can take those display off if you want to. And then down here, we can go ahead and press the Y button. It's that thing in the bottom left over there. It'll take all of those little notifications off so you can just have the full picture itself, which I like because you can go ahead and screenshot this or snippet tool this and you can make it a background if it's a character that you like. And if you want to mess around and like hide certain parts of it, you have the ability to do that as well. So you can hide certain parts of the picture to, you know, do it however you want. Just a cool little aesthetic to the game that they have that doesn't really do anything for gameplay, but it's a cool little feature that they have added in there. Once we get off of that, another cool feature as well, just a little tidbit if you guys didn't know, if you hit the X button, it shows you like all of the agent promotion preview and stuff like that. Make sure that you are, you know, leveling up everyone to at least 20 so you can get those free summons early on. It's not a lot of waste of resources at all. I promise you, every single character you have, push them to at least ascend them to 10 plus so you can go ahead and get these free summons. Little tidbit in the video. Other than that, if we pop on over here to skill, everything is like, also look at this. Just the animation of them switching between these screens is so freaking cool as well. I like that a lot. But over here on the skills, very simple. I like simplicity when it comes to these games. I know a lot of people like to have true in-depth experiences with like skill building or talent trees and stuff like that. I do in certain scenarios, but as someone who plays majorly the time on my phone because I'm always moving around or at work and stuff like that, having a simplicity in a game makes it a lot easier for me to log in, do anything that I could do on the PC or the controller and still have an enjoyable experience. So right now my experience on mobile has been just as good. I wouldn't say better, but just as good as the PC experience. But yeah, over here on skills, very easily laid out. We got 6 of these bad boys. And then we have this little mission right here, the core skill as well, that you can just do missions to level up. And then we have just the passives and everything down here. Along with the equipment, let's go to someone who we actually have some equipment on. Very easy feature. Most gacha games have this already. We won't harp on it too much. You have your main W engine, which is going to be the one that kind of correlates to the element or the style of your character. You obviously want to choose something like that. But just in total, I mean, the fact that they've animated these is pretty dang cool in itself. I like that a lot. If we move over here to our discs or whatever the hell these are called, I forgot what these are called. If we move over here to these bad boys, this is where you're going to get your set effects and stuff like this. These, I believe you unlock like right around 28, 29, level 29, somewhere right around there. You'll unlock a store to be able to have these. And honestly, it made a big difference because the passives are just as good. You don't even really need to level these bad boys up. I haven't touched any of them, but maybe like 1 or 2 of them leveled up. And I've still been able to clear all of the content thus far. But yeah, overall, very easy. There's just 6 of them in place. These can be farmed from daily missions or like little missions you spend stamina on. And then you can also purchase them from a shop as well. This will pretty much wrap up my experience with like the characters and the screen. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say on this. I don't think there is. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. I don't see how they could improve on this, and especially with the fact if you just scroll through some of these characters, they all have like their own little aesthetic backgrounds and stuff as well, depending on what, you know, class or function they are. They have different coloring and everything. I think is pretty cool. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is something I have no clue why the hell they don't have this in every freaking game. Every game, I don't care if it's gacha, whatever game, is Zenlesszonezero has this really cool feature here where you can go into your video archive It allows you to literally rewatch through the entire story, all of the comic book art styles, all of the cutscenes with the talking, all of the dialogue, everything like that, and any of the interactive like cinematic experience as well that they've allowed you to go through. Let's just use it for an example. I know everyone's seen this one already. If you haven't, then if you haven't gotten to this point, then skip over here for this part of the review. But it allows you to go in and check out anything that you've completed already. We'll just go ahead and go with this one, obviously, because it's such a cool scene. We get to re-experience the visual part of the story. Along with that, it goes through the entire dialogue afterwards. Another thing just on this topic is, holy shit, did they go freaking hard on their cinematic experience that we've seen so far. This is one of the coolest ones, I would say, when it comes to action, but there's definitely some like other top-notch moments in the game so far that are just like very comedic, very fun and everything to rewatch again. I've rewatched a couple of these, grabbed some screenshots from them and everything like that, which is something I like to do in games that have like the camera ability and the visual novel ability and stuff like that. It makes it nice that you can replay these back, because a lot of times you're not just recording the entire gameplay. You don't know what's coming up into the future. But yeah, so on to their like storytelling. The way zenlesszonezero does storytelling, it really comes into like, I would say, 4 different portions. First and foremost is going to be like the overworld, exploring around the town and everything like that. Second up is going to be more of like that visual that we just seen right there, like an animated scene. The third is going to be more like that little cutscene sequence that we saw as well. And the fourth, well, actually there's 5. No, I take that back. There is 5. The fourth is going to be like the comic book art style, like where you're flipping the pages and everything like that to get to experience the story with the characters, more in a manga drawn sense, which is pretty cool. I like that they've diversified it. And last is probably the least like way that we get to experience the story, and it's going to be that TV system. Now, that's probably my #1 gripe, and it's not because the TV system is there. I feel like it's the way that they utilized that storytelling aspect of the game. It feels unpolished. It's a great idea. It's a disruptive idea, and I like it. But it feels too long, in sense of jumping from like any exploration mission where you do like a fight, you're in the mix, like your blood's pumping, everything, you're dodging, you're having a fun time and everything, actually playing the game, and then you're thrown back into this TV sequence where you're moving around, and it is a story being told there. Like it does have dialogue, it does have purpose, it does have meaning and everything, in correlation to way that the character, the main character Wise or Belle go throughout their journey. So it's not a bad idea, but I feel like it needs to be polished. I don't know what the answer is for that, whether they need to be a little bit shorter or the way that you interact in them can be like a little bit cleaner. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that, because I'm still like torn between it, where some of them I do enjoy it. I'm like, oh, this is a fun puzzle. Like I have a wind down time in between like epic fights and epic cutscenes and everything, where I get to experience a more thought-provoking puzzle experience, I would say. But some of them are a little bit too easy, and then some of them just don't have like the right explanation of how to actually like achieve the goal. So I feel like there's like a balance that needs to be created between that. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about that, because I'm truly torn, where I'm like, I could do without this, but then some missions where I'm like, oh, I enjoyed this. Like it was pretty fun. Let me know what y'all think about that one. Next up, we are going to talk about like the actual overworld and the spots and everything like that we get to explore. All right, so let's talk about the actual exploration, I guess you can call it, of the game, and how it kind of feels limiting right now. With that being said, I'm excited for the future of this, because of where I'm at in the story, of where I'm at in my internaut level and everything like that. it allowed me to experience something a little bit further. I don't want to spoil anything on that if anyone hasn't been there already, but there is more places for us to explore. I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of people talking about how 6th Street and inside the shops and like the subway and everything like that are like the only places that we get to move around and actually experience the outer life story of the game, which is not true. There are a couple other places that we get to move around so far that I've been, and I believe I have one more that needs to be unlocked, which I'm assuming once we get to level 34 we will get there, if not like 35 to 40. So at least within the next week we should be able to achieve a full exploration on the game and everything that it has to offer. Right now I'd say we're about 80 to 85% done with everything the game physically has to offer right now until they do updates and everything. And that's not including like the in-game stuff. Obviously that stuff is going to take time if you're free to play or a light spender and everything. But as for now, we have a couple different places that we can go ahead and look around. And like I was saying, is this one right here unlocked, and then I have one more unlocked. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places, give or take, that are like full places to explore. 2 of them being the same place, HIA being its own, Metro Station being its own, Scott Outpost being its own, and then Lumina Square being its own. So right now we have 6 true places that we can walk around. Some of them are just like one singular rooms. Like if we go over here to the HIA Club, which is where you spend your stamina and everything like that for getting materials, it's truly just this room. So it's not like a huge space to like walk around or anything like that. Not a lot to do except for talk to these 2 ladies right here. But other than that, yeah, not too much to do. If we go back over here, we have the Metro Station, which again, we'll go to the 6th Street one. I am going to show the square. So if you haven't seen that area or you don't want to get spoiled, please skip this portion of the video. But yeah, another very small area to explore. Not much to do inside of here. I think it was like 1 or 2 interactions that took place here. That was it. What else do we got? The Scott's Outpost. This bad boy right here is where we do the endless depths or whatever the hell it's called. Let me see what the hell the hollow dive. Hollow Zero. There we go. Hollow Zero, the Shiyu defense, and the cleanup and the hunt. So there's 4 different things we can do in here that are important. Those are going to be like your weekly resets or bi-weekly resets whenever it comes to different materials. But other than that, there's not too much to explore past inside that little tent. Again, a very small area that has a lot of room to grow. As we can see, this giant building behind it, this huge destruction zone and everything that's going on right there. Yeah, so they have room to grow it. Last up, like I said, if you haven't seen this area yet and you don't want to get spoiled, skip ahead a little bit. Then we have this one, which is, I would say, the physically biggest map that we've been able to explore around so far, which is pretty cool. It has this, it does lag a little bit whenever I come here for some reason, but it has this very open area. You can explore all around. Those little red lights and everything, I believe they're just there because of the mission that I'm on, or maybe it's the cars passing, not too sure. But you can explore that entire area, walk around over there, walk inside over there. There's like a street that goes behind that area. So it's pretty open. We have other missions for Mew Mew as well here, so it extends on that portion of the game, which is pretty cool. I like that these little mini missions that he offers is being utilized in more than just the starting area. It's a pretty nice touch to it. It allows you to build connections to the characters, even like the side characters, and know that they have like an importance of different places and everything. Okay, I haven't done page 2 yet. So, but yeah, this area as well. We'll go back to the main street because this area for some reason is a tad bit laggy. We'll go back into this bad boy. But yeah, as for like the overworld, what am I excited for? I think some of like the coolest things that we could see in the future are going to be more open areas to explore with more like little collectives along the way, more bamboo missions like the little puzzles and everything that they offer. I think would be cool to have them spread out like morning, day, night, evening, and stuff like that they're doing here in different areas as well. What else? What else about that? Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up that portion. I can't think of anything else that really stands out to me as for the exploration. This kind of exploration in a game has been done many times before, and it's not something new. But with all of these little added features that they have in here, like the coffee shop and the cooking, every single gotcha little shop and everything is along the way. The way that you level up your bamboos and everything is all on the 6th Street. Yeah, overall, I would give the exploration like a solid like 7.5 right now. Definitely can be expanded on. But yeah, I don't really think there's too much more to say on that. Nah, I don't think so. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, last two subjects before we wrap this bad boy up. First is my experience. Like, what do I think about the story so far? It started very cheesy, and not in a bad way. So there's a lot of different animes or a lot of stories that they can tell where they introduce things in like a very comedic, lighthearted sense, and it builds upon the depth of the characters, gives you some like backstory, everything like that. And I think they did a great job so far on giving backstory to the certain characters that were more prominent in the actual mainline quest so far. They also do a good job with that little like the character station inside there where you can go and play like the individual character stories and everything. They've done a good job of that so far as well. I mean, I definitely won't give the story anything higher than a 7 right now. And where I'm at in the story, it's gotten tremendously better. Like there feels like a threat now, whereas before it just felt too lighthearted. Like the threat was just not, like there was no real danger. It just felt like there was a because the main character is inside of the system, there's no real danger that something can happen. But once you get a little bit further, it does develop in a much better way. And I think a lot of times it's very hard to score any kind of live service game on their initial launch of a story, which you should be able to because it's what you have available right now. But I think that's the wrong way to go about it, because this is an ongoing story. It's like if you were going to if you're going to score Harry Potter or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any book that has like a trilogy or more than one book in it, if you were going to score the entirety of the story on its first book and never give the second half or third part of it a chance, I think you would be wrong in the way that you are looking at the overall picture of that. And not saying that people are doing this, I'm just saying subjectively my way of thinking. So far, like I said, the entirety of the story that I have consumed so far is at a solid 7, probably 6.5 to 7. But I also see where it's heading, and I have a very good intuition when it comes to like reading the direction of a story or understanding the direction that something is taken, because that's what I'm in love with. I'm in love with storytelling. I'm in love with consuming stories as well. So I have a good intuition when it comes to that. And I can tell you it's heading in a direction to where it's going to be a lot more entertaining. It's going to be more risk involved in the story. And we're going to have, hopefully soon, a visual of a true villain. This is one thing that irritates me a lot of times, is where we don't get to see a like true villain of the story early on, because like I said, the threat just doesn't seem real. The best stories that are written, they go into the villain's point of view very early on, and they set the stage to where what is their purpose, what are they after, and they set the stage for the hero usually after that. I think that's a very cool way to tell a story. Unfortunately, they did not do that entirely. They kind of hinted at it, but it went off track. Other than that, that's truly where I'm at on this story. Let me know what y'all think about this story so far. My main playthrough, I skipped every single piece of dialogue. Once I got to this point where I really don't have anything to do, once my stamina is spent, I've done all the missions and everything that are available, I actually did go back and give the story a chance. So I have went through the entirety of it. And that's where I'm at right now. About a 7.2, something like that. Nothing truly higher than that. Other than that, last thing I wanted to talk about is going to be the music in the game. Not so much to say on that, except for it is literally god tier. It's one of the best music soundtracks that I've played. I personally never played Persona, and I know a lot of people will probably say Persona has just as good or better. I have obviously used Persona in some of my videos for like audio, and I love that style of music. But in here, like the combat experience music versus just roaming the cities, going into different shops and everything, I feel like they hit the nail on the head with that. Overall, my overall ending score for the game, why I'm giving it that, what I think they can improve, what I think they did best. Let's think about that for a second. Characters are spot on right now. I would like to see what the next 4 or 5 characters look like. I have avoided spoilers, so I have no idea who's coming out next, except for like that main teaser trailer that we got for like their dev interview or the dev release. So I do know we are getting that Katana girl. I forgot her name already. The Katana girl that did that crazy Zenitsu slide through the air. I know we're getting the police girl next, which I did get to play with her mission, and I was 100% ready to skip her, and then I got to experience her actual character, and I loved it. I love that kind of character style, personality, and everything. Probably not going to skip her after that. But going forward, I'd like to see like the next 4 or 5 coming out, and then give like a true overall review. Right now, it's on the low end. There are more characters that I dislike their aesthetics than I like their aesthetics. I'm not a big fan of the like lolly younger characters and everything like that. I will use them if they're good. Like I have nothing against them. I'm just not a big fan. I never choose to make one of them like a main team, or I would never go into like a limited summon to get them. Just not my style. You know, everyone has their own style and everything like that. But yeah, as for the characters, I'm enjoying the ones that I'm using. The other ones, I just literally leveled them up to get achievements. What else do I think they can improve on? Please, the TV system, please do something about that, or make it optional. Make the TV system optional for like bonus points if someone wants to go and do it. I think that would be a great way to separate that TV system from the main game, is have that be its own section in that the HR space or the VR space, the HDD space, whatever the hell it's called. Make that be its own section to where those are optional missions only. Do more battle missions and longer stages, like more waves and stuff like that. Definitely 1000% improve on the AI of the bosses and the enemies. A lot of times they feel like they're just standing still, or there's so many different effects and abilities that Bang Boos do that just trip them up so much that you're just breaking them in a couple of seconds, and then they're stun locked for another couple of seconds. By the time they get out of that stun lock, you already have built up all of your skills and your ultimate and everything, and you're just repeating that process after like one perfect block or one perfect dodge or one perfect counter, and then you're right back into that cycle. I really haven't ran into anything that truly felt like a challenge yet. Obviously, today I will go knock out all of the rest of the limited zones and stuff like that, challenge areas and everything that I have available to do right now. We can do a follow-up video on that. But yeah, that's another thing that I would say update. Last on the list is going to be exploration. Please, please, please. Exploration is such a fun part of most games. It allows us to, connect and resonate with the world that you guys have built, or that the team has built, the company has built. And I think right now they did a great job on presentation, but they're lacking exploration. Like the presentation of every zone that we've been able to go to is great, but the exploration of them, it just feels too flat. Like everything feels too flat. There's too many boundaries. There's not enough freedom whenever it comes to that part of the game. Anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all so much if you made it this far. Thank y'all so much for stopping by, listening to my review on the Zenlesszonezero. If you guys have any objections or any comments that you want to make about your thoughts, maybe there's some points that I hit on that you disagree with, please let me know. I'd love to continue the conversation in the comments. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all so much for stopping by, and I'll see y'all in the next one.